In 1970, the U.S. had the highest rates of high school graduation in the world. Now it has one of the lowest. According to the OECD, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, the overall U.S. graduation rate is now around 75%, which puts America 23rd out of 28 countries surveyed. In some communities, the graduation rate is less than 50%. In 1983, the Reagan administration published A Nation at Risk as a warning for the need to reform U.S. schools. In the years since, federal and state governments have launched hundreds of initiatives and spent billions of dollars trying to do just that. Since the launch of No Child Left Behind, these efforts have intensified. The results have been unimpressive. One of the ongoing themes found in many readings suggests the problem with education today is the current policies are based on tragic misdiagnosis of the problem. Education is considered an industrial process rather than a human one. It is driven by a culture of testing and standardization that has narrowed the curriculum and sees students as data points rather than people. To quote Sir Ken Robinson, to improve our schools, we have to humanize them and make education personal to every student and teacher in the system. Education is always about relationships. Great teachers are not just instructors and test administrators. They are mentors, coaches, motivators, and lifelong sources of inspiration to their students. The Khan Academy is doing just that. What is the Khan Academy? Its mission is a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere. The Khan Academy is a not-for-profit organization on a mission. Its goal is to change education for the better by providing a free world-class education for anyone, anywhere. It doesn't matter if you are a student, a teacher, a homeschooler, a principal, or an adult returning to the classroom after 30 years, or you just want to understand biology. Khan Academy's material and resources are available completely free of charge. It's an educational website that, as its tagline puts it, aims to let anyone learn almost anything for free. Students or almost anyone interested enough can watch some of the over 2,400 videos of math, science, and economics, from straightforward math to the analysis of bank bailouts. The videos are about 7 to 14 minutes long, with the beginning math only about 2 minutes. Each one consists of a voiceover by Khan describing one mathematical concept or explaining how to solve a problem. He scribbles formulas and diagrams as they appear on screen. You never see Khan, but you do hear him explain these equations. He has recorded every one of the videos on site himself and produces up to 8 new ones each workday.
Minus 6. And you can't subtract 6 from 0, so we need to get something into this space right here. And what we essentially are going to do is regroup. We're going to take 1, 1 from the 9. So let's do that. So let's take 1, 1 from the 9. So it becomes an 8. And we need to do something with that 1, 1. We're going to put it in the tens place. Now remember, 1 whole is equal to 10 tenths. This is the tens place.
In 2004, Khan's 13-year-old cousin Nadia, who lived across the country in New Orleans, asked him for help in math. Khan agreed to tutor her on the phone. To illustrate the mathematical concepts he was describing, they'd log into Yahoo Messenger, and Khan would use the program's drawing window to write equations while she watched remotely. When they couldn't meet, he just recorded the lesson on a video, talking through the material while writing on Microsoft Paint.
5 years ago, I was an analyst at a hedge fund, and I was in Boston, and I was tutoring my cousins in New Orleans remotely. And I started putting the first YouTube videos up really just as kind of a nice to have, just kind of a supplement for my cousins, something that might, give them a refresher or something. And as soon as I put those first YouTube videos up, something interesting happened. Actually, a bunch of interesting things happened. The first was the feedback from my cousins. They told me that they preferred me on YouTube than in person. And once you get over the backhanded nature of that, there was actually something very profound there. They were saying that they preferred the automated version of their cousin to their cousin. At first, it's very unintuitive, but when you actually think about it from their point of view, it makes a ton of sense. You have this situation where now they can pause and repeat their cousin. Now they can, without feeling like they're wasting my time. They could, if they have to review something that they should have learned a couple of weeks ago or maybe a couple of years ago, they don't have to be embarrassed and ask their cousin. They can just watch those videos. If they're bored, they can go ahead. They can watch it at their own time, at their own pace. And probably the least appreciated, I guess, aspect of this is the notion that the very first time that you're trying to get your brain around a new concept, the very last thing you need is another human being saying, "Do you understand this?"
In 2009, Khan turned his hobby into a full-time job. He formed his nonprofit and got a small donation. With the demand rising, he began recording more clips from a computer in his closet. Bill Gates started talking about the Khan Academy, and after meeting with Sal, made a donation of $1.5 million. Google also donated $2 million. Khan's site is aimed at helping people master the basics, the equations they encounter in elementary through high school. Khan gives his lessons casually, keeping the viewer engaged. He never writes a script, but prepares by researching it until he can easily explain it to a motivated 7-year-old. He says preparation can take anywhere from 10 minutes to a week. Also, Khan never edits. He records each video in a single tape. Although he has 3 degrees from MIT and an MBA from Harvard, he frequently goes outside his areas of expertise, hitting Wikipedia, the web, his personal library, and a long list of intelligent friends to bone up on the new topics until he feels confident. Khan suspects there is a hidden power in the fact that he never appears on screen in his videos. The only visual is in his handwriting, slowly filling the screen. He doesn't want it to appear like someone lecturing down at you, but something 2 people are working on together, writing on a piece of paper. Khan is particularly good at explaining all the hidden small steps in math problems, steps that some teachers may gloss over. He has an ability to get into the mind of someone who doesn't already understand something. He explains things step by step, rather than assuming you already know how to get from A to B.
Get rid of the percent sign. We move the decimal over.
He's amassed a library of math lectures,
12 plus 4 is 16.
starting with basic addition and building all the way through advanced calculus.
Khan Academy went from a website to an actual classroom tool, now providing individual tutoring with the support of videos, exercises, and simulations. It provides thousands of opportunities to practice the skills from basic addition to calculus, and it does provide individual and class data so any teacher can carefully monitor student progress.
You'd sit in class and you'd watch your friends or yourself be either lost or bored. You feel sorry for the teacher that he or she has to give this lecture to the blank faces, and you kind of start thinking even then there's got to be a better way to do this.
We visited a class in the Los Altos School District outside San Francisco, where the new Khan Academy software is being piloted.
Grab your computer, log in, and then open Khan Academy.
Right away, you notice something different. There are no textbooks and no teacher lecturing at the blackboard. Instead, students watch Khan videos at home the night before to learn a concept. Then they come to class the next day and do problem sets called modules to make sure they understand. If they get stuck, they can get one-on-one help from the teacher. Less lecturing, more interaction. What you think of as homework, you do at school. And schoolwork, you do at home. It's called flipping the classroom. And 7th grader Laureen Forget says using Khan Academy at home has given her math a big boost.
I'm not a big fan of textbooks. I thought that Khan Academy was a lot easier because it's on a screen, it's easy to find the concept you want to do.
And now with the videos, do you find yourself rewinding it, playing it again if you need to?
A lot, yeah.
You do that at home?
Yeah, usually when I watch a video, it's because I'm having trouble on the practices. So if I don't understand the video, I can always rewind it or pause it so that I can go back to the module and do what I learned.
What's the hardest part about learning this way?
I don't really think there's a hard part.
Khan Academy also developed the dashboard system, letting students know what their current skill level is, whether they need practice, or are they ready to advance toward the mastery level. A student takes a pretest and the system will award progress through a different exercise depending on how they do. It is a data-based research that shows students seem to advance. In addition to the videos, the website generates practice problems, and for good performances, they reward video game-like badges for answering a streak of questions correctly or mastering a level. These badges require hours of attention to earn, but earning badges and awards motivate and encourage students to work harder and practice more. Research-based data proves it works. The high school in Los Altos, California, using the Khan Academy, class test scores improved more than 106% in half a year. One girl in the classroom had advanced an astonishing 366%.
Let's talk about one of the most important biological processes.
Sal Khan has tackled so many subjects that if you watched just one of his lectures a day, it would take over 8 years to cover it all.
Huge time scales.
Magnetic north is kind of the geographic location.
And then let's say that this is the point x is equal to basic introduction. Light. If this does not blow your mind, you have no emotion.
Presently, Khan Academy's content is used by classrooms and individuals in over 20 languages around the world. More than 920 million interactive math problems have been done. Khan Academy's videos have been viewed by over 225 million times. Sal Khan is the most watched teacher in the world. Teachers have long known that one-on-one tutoring is effective, but in 1984, educational scholar Benjamin Bloom figured out precisely how effective it is. Bloom researched students who had been pulled out of a class and given individual instruction. What Bloom found is that students given one-on-one attention reliably perform 2 standard deviations better than their peers who stay in regular classrooms, raising a student in the middle of the pack into the 98th percentile. Bloom's findings caused a stir in education, but ultimately they didn't significantly change the basic structure of the classroom. One-on-one instruction, after all, is expensive. Khan stated, "We've always known that one-on-one is the best way to learn, but we've never been able to figure out how to do it. The Khan Academy seems to have learned how and is making a real difference in the world of education."